and I think the other thing, you're talking about conversion optimization. I mean, that's huge in terms of driving down CPA, because you can either, you got 1,000 users come into your site, and let's say 10% of them give you their email address.
Right.
You can either try to spend money to acquire another 1,000 customers and double your traffic, or you can make some, an investment of time and energy in optimizing that page and get that number up to 20%.
Right.
And the net is the same. And it's arguably cheaper to do the second.
Right.
And dividends you're going to pay over the long term, are much, much higher that way too.
Yeah. I love these videos because I can always go back and listen to all the different strategies that the experts tell me. But I know, moving into closing the interview, I know you also are involved in the Growth Hacker community. Do you want to just briefly talk about
Sure.
some of the stuff going on in Chicago, and then we can close
so
from there?
we started the Growth Hacker meetup here a year ago, and we've had 4 or 5 folks that came out. And the idea behind that was really just, we saw a trend here where there was kind of this confluence between marketing and dev, and we have a really great dev team that cares a lot that's very outcomes focused and cares about the success of the company.
Right.
And so they're not interested really anymore in just building kind of cute products. Like, that's just not. They want to see these things be successful. And so we had a strong alignment of incentives there, and the whole Growth Hacker thing kind of came up. And again, I don't think none of us here would kind of consider ourselves growth hackers per se. Again, I think it's an issue of scale for the most part. The kinds of things that those folks are doing, the sites that they're working on for the most part have a level of traffic that is far beyond kind of what we're doing. But there was a lot of stuff that we could learn from them. There were strategies that we could leverage on a smaller scale. And so the theory there was basically, we could either fly around the country and try to meet these people for lunch, or we could bring them here. And so that was kind of where that whole thing started from. And in Chicago, it's interesting because Chicago, not a lot of those folks are here. And I think that Chicago has a really, really vibrant tech community at this point. And I think that some of the stuff that those folks are talking about is starting to kind of make its way here. But to a large degree, they're hungry for this kind of information. And there aren't a whole lot of speakers here or folks here that have it. And so we wanted to create a group that just we put on an event where we can get somebody to come in. We won't do it otherwise. And we tried to limit attendance to folks that are practitioners that could walk away with something and tomorrow go and do something with it. And so those combinations of things, I think we had some really good speakers, and the quality of the conversation was super, super high. And like you said, I mean, they were able to, a lot of conferences you go to and you get kind of fluff and 50,000 foot view, determine what your objectives are and blah, 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 blah. And these guys got into some real detail, and it was super helpful for the folks that were there, because they already kind of know what their objectives are, and they're looking for kind of ways to move the needle in a tangible way. So, yeah,
I see, a lot of people call themselves growth hackers or conversion rate optimization people or landing page experts. And, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's good for the space. More competition, the better. Gets more visibility and gets more of the general non-marketers doing this stuff. So,
well, and I think it does apply, I think a lot of the folks that really consider themselves to do it, they bristle at the suggestion when, you read that there's like 3,000 job postings that are called growth hacker on the internet or whatever. And
my God,
there aren't 3,000 people that know how to do this. And that's true. But I do think it is a shorthand term that describes a particular type of person that is different than if you just said a marketer. Because if you talk about social, for example, from a traditional marketer's perspective, they're talking about social media campaigns and how to get Facebook likes and all of those kinds of things. Where if you talk to someone who's kind of a growth hacker, they're talking a lot more, who has that mindset. They're looking a lot more about how do I leverage the social graph, or how do I improve my kind of invite referral mechanism, or how do I kind of tap into all of the data that's kind of available through the social graph to increase conversion and all of those kinds of things. So it's just it's a different mindset, I would say. And so I think it is very valuable as a term from that perspective. And there will be more and more people that actually have the kind of skill set to back it up.
Sure. Well, I really appreciate your time. And let's close by telling people how they can get in touch with you.
You can email me. It's just sean.johnson@gmail.com. If you are a startup and you are what we do kind of is interesting to you and you're missing some pieces, you can reach out to us at it's digintent.com. Or you can follow me on Twitter at Intentionally.
Intentionally. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate your time and have a great day.
Yeah, you too.